Hi, I'm Crystal.
I'm Tara.
And I'm Karin.
And we're the Rom-Com Detectives.
Welcome to our trailer episode of Rom-Com Detectives. Today is just a quick episode to introduce ourselves and our podcast concept. We're basically going to be a podcast focusing on episode breakdowns and ship discussions in romantic comedy police procedurals. Rom-coms have a very long history in cinema, but in the last few decades, crime shows that had a romantic comedy bent to them really became a thing, particularly the detective consultant dynamic. And a lot of shows follow under this umbrella that follow the basic rom-com format of will they, won't they, and there's supporting characters that encourage them. There's a foil in their getting together, like other relationships with other people. And these shows often showcase a very long, sometimes painful, right?
Agonizingly.
Slow burn before they actually become a couple. And you can argue that this started with the comedic elements of The X-Files, the show that originated the term ship or shippers, right?
Yep.
And from there were shows like Castle, Bones, The Mentalist, Lucifer, White Collar, and CIS. Currently, there's The Rookie, and then there was Psych and Chuck, which are more comedy bent, but still like police procedural kind of thing. But yeah, all these shows were very successful, and that's what the basis of our podcast is going to be. In the streaming age, these shows often become what people now call comfort shows, and they watch them over and over. I mean, I know I do that. So
and over and over and over.
And we kind of become students of it, right?
Yeah. We got to keep making it interesting.
Yeah. So Rom-Com Detectives was originally going to be just me and Tara, and we were going to start by focusing on Lucifer. But then it started to become an issue in my mind that we'd essentially be focusing on a single show for theoretically years before moving on to another rom-com procedural, and I don't know, that just didn't really sit well with me. And then it finally came to me that the show could cover more than one at a time with different partner duels, allowing the show to cover more while staying true to the theme. So what's going to happen is I'm going to co-host a Lucifer rewatch / discussion string of episodes with Tara, and then I will also co-host a Mentalist line of episodes with Karin. We may add more rom-com detectives later down the line, but for now we're starting with the three of us, and then we'll maybe occasionally bring on what we're going to call rom-com consultants, because you can't have a rom-com
It fits the
detective show
theme.
without yeah, you need to have rom-com consultants, right? But yeah, so the first order of business is to give you all a bit of background on each of us. My name is Crystal Watanabe. Professionally, I'm a self-employed fiction editor. And as a hobby, I work in fan spaces. I used to run the fan sites jabberjays.net and enderwigan.net. I've actually been podcasting since 2007, starting with a Final Fantasy XI podcast called The Mog House. And that's actually where I got my online nickname that I've carried with me for almost 20 years now, or Pico. Yeah, that was my Final Fantasy XI character. I co-hosted the podcast Endercast, which was about Ender's Game, the film adaptation, and Jabbercast, which covers the Hunger Games books and movies, and Wires from the Deep, a podcast about the Apple TV show Silo, which they're currently filming season 3. But yeah, so we're off season on that show right now. And all this to say that I'm a very passionate fan, and my previous podcasts have mostly been in dystopian worlds, and I have a lot of mom humor to get out of my system. So I really wanted to do a podcast where I can touch upon shows that have comedic aspects to them and just have a, just like a generally lighthearted conversation with people. So
we all need to laugh.
Yes, we do, especially now.
Especially now.
All right, so let's move on to Tara.
All right. Hi, I'm Tara. I am new to podcasting because I'm that weirdo who actually never listens to podcasts because the people never talk fast enough for me. Yeah. And, but I am, however, not at all a newbie when it comes to fandom or fandom spaces. I actually go all the way back to the X-Files, which was Baby's first fandom in the late 90s, where I was, of course, invested in Mulder and Scully as all is right and good. And mostly since then, I have been involved as a writer in fandom spaces. So I have many a fanfic to my name. And just to compete with you, Crystal, I have to say I've had my online persona since like 1997. And it was a character that I invented in junior high. She was a high queen, which I often forget now, but I'm like, oh yeah, you've been around for like my whole life, which is Terrasand. So yes.
That's
Um,
awesome.
as for still active, I guess, fandom spaces, obviously I was very involved with Lucifer. I have thoughts about this. Also, still have a dangling work in progress that haunts me. And my other main still active spaces are video game based. So, Dragon Age and Mass Effect, which technically does have a detective in it. So, still on theme. But yeah, and then I've been around for a lot of reading and engaging with other fandoms. But those are the biggies.
Before we started recording, I told the two of them that I wanted us to harness older fangirl energy. And Tara made a joke about how we're ancient fangirls.
Yeah, I was there. It's the Gandalf, like meme. That's I was there, Gandalf. I was a child. I looked at people my age and I thought they were on death's door. I don't feel like that anymore, really, which is probably good.
I did see a post on the AO3 Reddit asking people what age they were, and it was really cool to see that people were saying like ages from like 13 up until like post 60. I really like that.
And it has always been like that. Like back in my X-Files days when I was like 18, 19, there were people in my sort of like friend group that were in their mid 30s. And I learned a ton from them. Like,
Hmm.
actually, a big part of why I too am an editor is because of the stuff that I started learning then about storytelling and like revising. We called it machete beta reading, like
Oh
basically
my.
attacking things with a machete. And so, yeah, I mean, like I learned so much from these women, and I'm still friends with a ridiculous number of the same people I knew when I was 19, and I am
That's
no longer
amazing.
19. She was a long time ago, 19.
Okay, let's move on to Karen.
Whew, all right. My name is Karin Lubbers, and I started my first fandom when I was 9 years old. I discovered classic Doctor Who, and I'm still active in those communities. And I went to a con recently, still engaging in those spaces, and started writing fanfic at an early age. At this point, been watching The Mentalist for about 11 years, and I have written about
Wow.
20 fanfics that are on AO3 and fanfic.net because that's where the Mentalist fanfics are. Just the truth. It's that old.
I've heard that actually. Like, I have enough overlap in my space that I've heard that there's certain shows that just never really made it past fanfic.net. And they're
That's
there.
right. There are a lot on AO3, but if you want to find the core fics are on fanfic.net. And there's still a good audience there if you're looking for one. So my fandom name is Nitro 9. That's from Doctor Who. It's a fake explosive, homemade explosive.
It's very polite of Doctor Who to keep giving you material. Like, that's nice.
It is. They keep me busy. And it's still going. I mean, the show's 60
Yeah.
years old, over 60 years old now. So, but yeah, so I've been in the mentalist spaces for since 2018, I'd say, and on just joined the Reddit. A little late to that, but I was on Twitter and on Discord.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in really quick to say that this is actually a really special week for Mentalist fans because this is the 10-year anniversary of the series finale, and like to help celebrate that, I'm the moderator on the Mentalist subreddit, and so I put together 3 AMAs, which are Ask Me Anythings, with 3 of the cast members. So that's going to be happening later this week, and so I'm really excited about that. We're going to get to talk to Owen Yeoman, Tim Kang, and Amanda Rigetti. They were the 3 supporting character agents on the show, so really excited about that. And this will probably be published after those happen, but people will be able to go like Google them and go read back on their answers and everything like that. So you won't miss out on anything really technically. So yeah, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to this week. How we met slash know each other. Tara and Karin are actually just met right now.
Hello.
We go way back, like 25 minutes.
Super tight. But yeah, I've known Tara for several years now. I met her on Facebook through Facebook groups, basically through mutual bitching.
Yeah. Yeah.
We would see like Facebook conversations and we would be replying in the same threads, and we'd be like, eventually one of us messaged the other and we were like, can you believe this? And just like gossiping right in the background. And we
As all good friendships begin, really. Let's take this to a private tea spilling session.
Exactly. But yeah, we really got along in that area. So afterwards, after all that, I found out that if there was some kind of like PhD program in Lucifer, Tara would enroll right now.
I would. I've already written many theses.
And I was very excited because I found the show after I met her, and I was really into it. I watched it like, I think I watched all 6 seasons in 6 days, and then I watched it again, and then I watched it again. I was really into it for a while, and so yeah, she
Some
was.
would say you pulled a Lucifer watching Bones, only you did it with Lucifer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did watch Bones right after Lucifer just because it's Lucifer's favorite show. So, but yeah, that's how I met Tara. And I how did I meet you, Karin? I think I met you on the Mentalist Bullpen Discord server that I created, right?
We met before you created that server.
Oh, okay.
The first one you joined.
Oh yeah. There's another one. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so I was in awe at how deep your fandom for the Mentalist goes, and so when I came up with this idea, I was like, if I do this with like multiple shows, then I need someone who's like even more hardcore into Mentalist than I am, and oh my god, it's definitely you. So that's how we arrived here. So
But do they knit blankets?
oh yeah.
Or is that just Crystal making it like
I do knit, but my Mentalist project was a big washcloth with a pigeon on it, so you can hide the pigeon in your pocket, which is an important plot point for the Red John.
Yeah. So I get some of my fandom energy out of knitting blankets for shows. I started with a Lucifer one, which was just a Lucifer gold letters from the intro music. And then after that, I did a shadow knit blanket of Silo, where like if you look at it from the side, it just looks like stripes, but if you look at it from the front, it has like words that appear like out of magic. And I don't have that one anymore because the author of the book series, his wife contacted me and she asked to buy it, and I sold it to her. So now the author of the books owns it, which is something really cool to talk about, right? And then I just recently, this past week, finished my Mentalist one, which is just the silhouette of Patrick Jane in the intro music. So that was my biggest one yet. It was 275,000 stitches. It was crazy. It took me 6 months.
I sometimes knit small squares. It's about as I once knit a Mass Effect themed scarf though, and it took me an embarrassing number of years to finish it. So yeah. Blankets. Every time you knit something, I'm like, huh?
I do it while watching my favorite comfort shows, of course.
It's amazing.
But yeah, so we're gonna have slightly different concepts and segments for the 2 different sections of the shows of this show that we're gonna have. So like for example, for Lucifer, we're gonna have a segment called The Good, the Bad, and the Crispy, where we go over the good parts, the bad parts, and the extra well done parts of the episode. And for those of you who don't know, that is just an episode title from season 2 3.
Good question.
Uh-oh,
That
we're fired.
we're fired.
Show's over.
Well, the problem with watching all the shows, in many times and as one long 5 season.
Wait, 5?
Yeah. Yeah,
happened
there
to
were
the
only
sixth-
5, right? There were
What
only 5
happened to
seasons.
the sixth season, Tara?
We're not there yet. I'll save that. We'll save that for later.
We're going to have therapy before we broach that.
Yeah, we need to get into this. We don't need to start you guys thing. Yeah, I feel like that one, they all blur together.
Yeah.
At least the first few seasons.
But yeah, we'll probably do case briefings because all of these shows are based around murders, basically. So we'll talk about like the quality of the case, things that we liked, whether how easy it was to guess the killer, that kind of thing. And then for Mentalist, we'll probably do cold readings and hot readings. Cold readings is basically just reactions on the surface, and then hot readings would be like things based, our discussions based on background research and things like that. Spoiler policy, since both the Lucifer and the Mentalist are shows that aired a long time ago, the assumption will be that you're listening to the episode having already seen the entire show. So we may discuss future episodes or future plot points, but we'll still try to keep the major things unspoiled until we get to them. Yeah. That's basically it.
It'll be fun.
So that's it for our trailer episode. We're going to put this up and then we'll start telling people about it. And then we'll record our first episode separately and then we'll publish those. And if you're listening and you've only watched one or the other show or whatever, you can just choose which ones to listen to, or you can listen to all of them. But we'll probably alternate as things come out. But if that sounds like something that you'll enjoy, be sure to check us out when we officially launch. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon. This episode of Rom-Com Detectives was recorded on February 16, 2025. Rom-Com Detectives is co-hosted by Crystal Watanabe, Tara Avery, and Karin Lubbers, and is produced by Pico's House.
Produced by Crystal, who has more energy than anyone I've ever met before.